Hey guys, how's it going? It's Janie over here at JaniesSweets. Welcome back to another Friday Fixes episode where you ask me your cake questions and I do my best to answer them for you. And now today's episode is inspired, you would say, by a DM that I received last year. And somebody, wanted to know, she messaged me and she said, I love your channel. I've been watching you for quite some time and now I am ready to launch my business in 2020. But she wanted to know, what are some things that I wish I knew, that if somebody had told me stop, do not do them, like mistakes that I've made along the way that, could probably help her not make those same mistakes, because a lot of things cost money, especially in the business. So I stopped and thought to myself, what are some things that I actually wish I knew? So I came up with 5 of them and I asked her if it was okay for me to make a Friday Fixes instead of answering her directly. And she said, absolutely. So shout out to you. Hi, if you're watching. So yeah, let's get started with the video. Now, the first mistake that a lot of people make when they start out in the business is practicing on a client's cake. Do not do this. I cannot stress it enough. I did the mistake. A lot of people do it, and actually someone very recently DM'd me about something, and gosh, I really don't want to offend anybody if she or he is watching this, but it was something like this. They wanted to know if a product worked, and I told them that I've never used that particular brand. This is the brand that I use, but they should just try it and see if it works out, because maybe it's more accessible to them, or maybe it's cheaper for them to get. And they answered with, oh, I don't have time to practice. This is for a client's cake. And I was like, there were so many like red signals going off in my head. I wanted to tell them, you can't do that. Like, don't practice on a client's cake. I have made that mistake so many times. First of all, if you do mess up, right? The repercussion of that is just, imagine it's towards the end of the cake, like especially what that person wanted to do. It was a design. I'm sorry, that was my little security system. It was a design that was, on the outside of the cake. So after you've worked all this time putting the cake together, you're gonna put something on it that could potentially ruin everything you've done. Don't do that. Practice. Dummy cakes are extremely affordable now. You could find them anywhere, on Amazon, probably on like all sorts of websites now. Just practice on it. It will save you so much headache in the future. Don't do it. Practice before you do something on a client's cake. Now, the next thing that I don't want you to do is to go into this business and not have determined your prices already. Now, all of us do it. Pricing sucks. I know it. I really know it. Definitely spend the time and invest in yourself before you make this into a business. You don't want to go into it losing money. I have an amazing video, if you're interested, I will link it for you, that talks about how I personally determine my prices. It's worked for thousands of people. A lot of people have DM'd me or even emailed me, said that it worked for them. It's a foolproof method, and I really do stand by it. If that doesn't work for you, there are thousands of other ways to determine your prices. Even here on YouTube, there is a plethora of information on how you can determine your prices. So determine your prices early. Don't make that mistake. Don't go into the business and then start thinking of, how am I going to charge for this? You need to know ahead of time and save yourself a lot of headache. Now, along the line of pricing, I want to talk about something else, and it is doubting your worth. I have another video that talks about how do you get the courage to talk to a client and tell them your price, because it's all fun and games when it's on paper, but then when it comes to getting the courage to tell the client, well, this is my price, it's intimidating, and I'm not gonna lie, it really scares me sometimes. But I go into depth on that video. Again, I will link it for you guys below on how I muster up the courage to do that, because you need to know your worth. You need to know why you're going into this business, and most people go into business to make money. Otherwise, it's called a hobby. So if you're in a business to make money, you have to first of all determine your price, but then beyond that, have the courage to tell your clients your price. Now, piggybacking off of that, my next point is feeling bad for clients. I know, especially if you are a very soft person in nature, that's definitely how I am. If you've watched my best friend tag, my best friend definitely describes me as a pushover. I really had to work very hard to stop feeling bad for people, because clients will, not all of them, some of my clients are super sweet and I have had them for 7+ years, but some people, you know, they try to take advantage of you, especially if you're a nice person, and especially being a woman. I find that people, being a woman and being a young woman, people try to take advantage of you a lot in this business, and any business for that matter. But especially if you are the spokesperson, you're the person talking for yourself, people will try to make you feel bad for them. Like things like cancellation policies. I've spoken about this before. Somebody made me feel bad for them after they've canceled the cake 3 days before I had already started working on it, and then she wanted it a whole other 3 months later, and I ended up making it. I know, like, and giving it to her for free. So many things have happened to me. Like, people will bamboozle you. Like, just don't fall for it. Stick to your policies, stick to your guns, have everything in writing, because if it's in writing, it's harder for them to argue it, and it's also easier for you to just refer them to the contract that you have. Oh, by the way, if you do not have a contract, self promo here again, I do have a video explaining to you how I have come up with my contract. So click in the description box below, you will find it. I will link it for you guys again. So definitely do not feel bad for clients. I mean, I know there are specific, you know, instances where, you know, you can make an exception, but it cannot be every single time. The next point that I want to make is a lot of people go into this and they underestimate how hard this business actually is. It is no joke. Baking, I mean, when I was doing this as a hobby, it was nothing, right? I enjoyed it. I genuinely loved it, and it was therapeutic for me. However, when you're making a cake for a client, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I personally have anxiety. I don't know, but it's just nerve-wracking. Like, my stress level was always up to here. So underestimating how hard this business is, how hard dealing with clients is, how hard actually making the cake is. Oh my gosh, I make, you know, I specialized in design cakes, and that is so nerve-wracking. There is nothing worse than trying to fondant a cake in a blistering hot summer day, or, you know, trying to color, you know, buttercream red. Oh my gosh, it will never turn red. I don't know why. There are tricks to make it happen, but my gosh, it's just such a hard business to be in, and if you're not ready, you will quit. I'm not kidding you. It is not for the faint of heart. So definitely plan ahead. Try to make things easier for you. You don't have to buy everything you can. I mean, you don't have to make everything you can buy certain things. There's just so much resource out there that can make this easier for you. But again, like I said, it is such an intense business to be in, so don't underestimate how hard it is. I know this is supposed to be 5 points, however, I have a bonus point for you guys, and that is a big one. What drives me insane more than anything, I love getting questions and DMs from you guys. I really, really do. And if you notice, I answer every single comment that you guys leave. I do my best to make it a little bit more personal, not just like, hey, thanks for watching. Like, I really, really do enjoy interacting with everyone. But what drives me crazy to no end are people who don't do their research. A lot of questions that I get are simple questions that could be answered just by doing a Google search or by using a little bit of common sense. I mean, I know, and this is not me saying stop asking me questions, because I do answer every single one of them, but it really, really, really makes me question how much you really are into this if you haven't done the legwork. For example, converting something from ounces to grams. There's no need to ask for me to post a recipe in grams instead of, you know, ounces, something like that, because you could convert this extremely easily. So again, I don't want to offend anyone. If you have asked these questions, not only to me, but to other bakers, just know that sometimes you do have to do a little bit of legwork. You know, you can't rely on someone else to do the, you know, research and work for you. I try my best to you know, give you guys as much knowledge as possible, but certain things you really, really, really do have to think about it yourself, or, you know, research it yourself. So that is all, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. Happy New Year again. Good luck to anyone who has told me that they are launching their business in 2020. And if you haven't told me and this was your push, I challenge you to at least try to start getting the ball rolling. Maybe in 2021 you will then launch it officially. So that is it, guys. A lot more videos are coming your way in 2020. I'm super excited. Stay tuned. I hope you've enjoyed. Share this video with as many people as you can. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't enjoy it. It's all the same. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.